I was.
Hey man, so I wanted to check what you did in the barn today. I saw you were in there earlier.
There was a cat.
Oh, cat?
Yeah, one of those barn cats that
Mhm.
they aren't like house cats, domesticated, so where you can pet them.
The cats.
Yeah.
What were you doing, though?
Well, I went up
Uh-huh.
stairs in my barn.
Yeah.
I looked around. There's a lot of junk in there.
It's not your barn.
Yeah, it's my barn. It's my barn. It's my barn. Oh, it's my barn. It's not.
It's not though.
I fucking
Anyways,
own it.
continue what you were saying.
Okay. Piece of shit. I was going up my barn. And fucking. Oh God! Oh! Hey guys, I'm listening to Homestuck on my podcast app, and listen to this funny joke.
4, 3, 1.
This recording has gone on too fucking long. Elias' hard-cobbing throx slowly got bigger as we walked down the alley of New Mexico. In London, he was busy jacking off in the corner to fucking child porn. And after I laughed at him and left, he fucking put a knife in my throat. And I was laughing so hard because my husband loves me so much. I want to just fuck him in his tight pussy. Another Saturday night.
No. Yes.
Maybe?
No.
Fuck.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
No.
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 Yes.
No.
Hell yeah. Fuck no.
2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Fuck. Yeah, hold on. Bubby. Hey guys, welcome to the new song.
Jack.
is gonna come in me. Jeff is gathering my tea. Jeff is coming in me. Jeff's pouring his cum in my tea. It sinks to the bottom. Jeff's coming in me. Jeff's drinking my tea. I'm drinking Jeff's speed. Juices from his cock.
Broken wine glass.
I have a big ass. You're welcome, Mike. This is part 2 of the track, by the way. We're talking about lesbians. Daily reminder that she says 16 if you make lemon fan fictions of her. That's technically child porn. Just saying.
This is the whole.
My bros. I'm gonna let out a nasty rip, bros. Oh!
Do your fucking thing, you piece of shit.
Don't.
No! No!
Fuck. Ah, fuck. One day, down in the land. We're gonna read it now. Part 3, baby. Read the fucking thing, bitch.
No!
Elias slowly unzips his cock into Chise's mouth and come big load because I am an angle of death.
Sexual! Dog Nuts shows us that Jeff is in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls. Jeff, the man that ruined our fucking lives, lives on. Jeff is a national hero, saved us from the fires, saved us from those darn L words. L words. Some lives were lost. A calculator, a few notebooks, a child. But Jeff lives on. Jeff, he lives on.
Welcome to Jeff AM PM, Mini Market. We love to have you here. If you see any suspicious activity, such as 2 men sharing a bar of soap, a third anthropomorphic animal, or any form of Democrat, report them to the staff holding concealed carry permits inside. Thank you for shopping at Jeff AM PM Mini Market, and have a night.
Hey, Mouse. What was the name of that Russian website? Pepper. Oh yeah. So, how are you? Question's always hard to answer. I don't know. Fine, I guess. Okay. You? I'm okay, I guess. Did you look at the site yet? Yeah, I did. Does it meet your standards? Yeah. Lol. So much gay LOZ porn, though. I like it. Lol. A lot of like getting pegged, yeah. How's the it going? Hey! Oh, hey, I was being gay. You've been out a little while, and last I saw, there were police. Are you doing alright? Yeah, I was in the hospital. How'd that go? It was okay, I guess. Did they yoink any of your belts? What do you mean by that? They took your belt the other time. Yeah, they did. Hey. Someone left their dildos on the airplane. What? There's a lot to unpack. Also literally? Yeah. They left the suction cup dildos on the seat. 2 of them. Oh, they were in use. Is there any chance of pocketing one? No. This was yesterday. Was there any chance? Why would you want me to pocket one? Those are expensive to buy. Yeah, might as well. I didn't. F. Oh my god. Oh well. So, thought that's one way to do it. Yeah? Oh well. Want to see some gay Pokemon porn? Kind of neutral about it. Okay then! Makes me wet. You there? So wet! It's all pretty late. I expected some furry shit. It gets better! Wait till you think. Wow. Not really my thing. What are you up to? Well, fine. Okay. Pics or something, I guess. I have plenty of those pics. Will's pretty fun. Hopefully you don't have any pictures of each other. Will's? And my little actual liar boyfriend. Oh, one with the purple hair that I'm proud of. Oh, yeah. He's okay. We're horny bastards. Oops. Disregard that. You're certainly more horny than myself, but yeah, that's teenagers. Okay, I will. Yeah? So much yowing. Have lots of yowing. That's more worth dating, I guess. Yeah. Spooderman X Deadpool. There's something about casually talking about horror shit that's kind of fun. Yeah. Like, I don't know, it's like rule break or something. I did this with a friend last night. Aha, what I know then. No, middle school friend. Ah. Hey, you know Freshman Ryan? No, negative. The other one with the same history. What about them? The 2 people who have actively asked if I have Instagram will say this. Data's wild. Oh, I'm so wet already. 6'9", 69. Yeah.
Photograph of my laugh.
I'm stuck in the shower with my friend. I can't get out. He's fucking me on the wall. The water's pouring down my throat and in my body's holes. Name it butthole. Name it mouth hole. Name it eye hole. Name it. It's in my ear hole. In my face hole. In my ass
Photograph.
hole.
We're in the photo booth.
On my photo.
Taking a photograph, a picture. We're gonna save the memories for the rest of our lives. Our eternal lives. Why won't it end? I want
To
fuck!
become a new man.
Through
So
sex.
I bought my dad.
Craig. Who the fuck is
I
Craig?
swear he's giving me money. He's giving me money for free. He's giving me money in me.
Put it in.
Put it in.
Put it in.
Come in me.
Put it in. In the middle. The middle. Ah!
Climax.
Ah!
Hey, blast.
We have to go steal pizza from your mom.
Ate white cheddar cheese. He wants me to. Ah!
Your fault, bitch.
Don't hit me! I can sing when I breathe. I can sing when I fucking breathe.
I can sing. I can
Sing when I
sing.
breathe.
I can sing, I can sing, I can sing.
I can sing.
I can sing.
Breathing is probably the hardest thing you
When
could
you're
ever
on
do.
birth control.
Fucking one time I ate a birth control pill,
It was not for men.
but
He
it
is not a
kinda
man.
It prevented me from giving birth to three motherfucking dog.
Which is good.
'Cause I don't want a goddamn dog child.
I just wanna sing.
I wanna sing
I wanna
about
sing.
the dogs,
The dog.
the trucks,
The trucks. The
birth
fucks.
control, and
Birth
the
control.
Memorex speaker.
And the memories they bring.
I don't have any good memories of when I was
Our lives really
13.
suck.
When I was 13, I drank a bottle of
Alcohol.
Semen.
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
Sody pop.
Sody pop.
New Mexico
New Mexico
is shit.
Is shit. I hit on my male friend today. He
He's
turned
not
to me
gay.
and say,
He not gay.
I'm not gay.
He not gay.
Go away. I fucking want to punch you in your face.
And that is why we
I'm
are here
To
to
tell
sing
you,
and sing.
tell you about my dogs and my boyfriend.
But you
How
don't have.
fucking lied to me.
Just wanna sing. That's all I can do. I don't believe in God. I am an atheist.
Dating women who are Christians fucking sucks because they shove John 13 down your goddamn throat.
They don't believe in truth because they like that book.
Book about the gays and the dogs and the trucks.
No,
Did you fucking read it?
no, cause I'm an atheist.
Well, maybe you shouldn't take everything I say with a grain of salt. Fucking know that God drove it up 150.
He could not have because he is not real.
Yes, he is. I
Is
saw him
real.
on his fucking truck.
But does he fuck?
Yeah, in his truck.
Which
With
butt
the
does he
butt.
fuck?
Well, he doesn't fuck the hole, but the first one titled the vagina.
That's why I don't believe in him.
Because you're a filthy sodomite.
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
No,
is good.
YouTube
Yeah.
is a liberal
Yeah.
place to learn about God and his politics. He's running
Yeah.
for mayor in my town about
Yeah.
13 times. No one elects him, but
Yeah.
they elect instead my friend.
Yeah.
His name is Jesus, and he is left out in the sun. In the sun he lay
And burn.
and burn to become a martyr of his woman girlfriend he had in 7th grade. Because God is a freshman who likes to date the 9-year-old because he is
In high school, in high school, in high school, in high school, God is in high school, in high school, in high school, in high school, in high school. God damn, I wish that was really me. Getting pissed on at the side of the street. Don't get pissed on at the side of the street. Seriously, can't get enough me. My head in the urinal at 3. Nothing's ever gonna stop me from drinking it all. Can't shove the bottle in the hole and open the flow. Feeling I get an infection from this cheese. Liquid goodness in the dark abyss. It's pee. Shove the bottle in the hole and open the flow. Fearing I'd get an infection from the cheese. Liquid goodness in the dark abyss. It's pee. 3 years ago I drank. Pee is the thing I need. It's green. I need. Sometimes it's brown and smells like a fucking dumpster. Sometimes it's white and it's actually not pee. Sometimes it's clear and it tastes like water. Sometimes it's green and it tastes like a chicken noodle soup. It's all for me. I'm going to get it all in me. For me. In me. In me. For me. For me. In me. In me. For me. For me. In me.
Don't hit me! Jesus Christ, don't hit me! Jeez, okay, okay, God! I'll get the guitar!
Okay. Salt. It's full of sodium and podium. No, wait. Hey, what's in sodium? What's in sodium chloride? Right. It's sodium and chlorine. What the fuck is the keyboard doing? If you eat too much salt, your bones will get too big, and then they'll break because there's too much sodium in your bones. So you can only eat a little bit of salt. But you need some salt because that's an electrolyte. And electrolytes allow electricity to flow through water. You don't eat salt, then your water drinking will be bad, and you will get sick and die.
Regardless of whether you eat salt, you will die. You are going to die. Die!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Salt!
Salt.
Salt. In the pasta. You put it in the water so it doesn't boil over.
Salt. Don't fucking leave me out here.
You're queer.
You're queer in my home. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I hold on so nervously to me and my drink. Wish it was cool and clean, but so far has not been fun. Should just stay home. One thing really means one. This club has got to be the most pretentious thing since I thought you and me. But I'm still imagining a dark lit place, or your place or my place. Well, I'm not paralyzed, but I seem to be struck by you. I wanna make you because you're standing still. If your body matches what your eyes can do, you'll probably move right through me on my way to you. I'll hold out for one more drink before I think, looking too desperately, but so far has not been fun. This should just stay home. One thing needs one. This club will hopefully be closed in 3 weeks. That would be cool with me. Well, I'm still imagining a dark lit place, or your place or my place. Well, I'm My truck is fucked. My dog got stole. My girl got fucked by my bro. I am alone without anyone. I just want my dog. Where has he gone? Bring me back my dog from my truck where it fucked in the dump. It got crushed into shit by a magnet. I don't
And his
care.
bro, actually, and
Fuck you.
fucked his dog and his wife and his truck.
I don't have no family.
'Cause I
They
killed them all.
all betrayed me.
I paid them off with my hella cash, my cowboy ranch, and my fat ass. No way are they gonna let him be a cowboy!
'Cause you're gay.
You're gay, and
No, you're gay.
homophobic is the right way. Trump's in me. Trump wants my D. Trump is slathering shrimp on me.
Trump wants my D. They came out with the exact
Fucking Trump! Trump! Not ending it yet. Oh shit, it's recording! Trump! We're gonna go on a magical field trip to my fucking ass! Trump!
Chapter 1. Chice. Warning, slight lemon. I let out a low moan as Elias ran those delicate fingers of him down my stomach, then began to dance them up and down my inner thigh, teasing me in the cruelest way. "Elias, please!" I begged and arched up, wanting him to touch me so bad. I had wanted this for so long, to now finally be his wife.
It seemed almost like a dream. "Hush," he ordered, and bite my lip as a whimper threatened to slip through my lips. We were no longer father and daughter, no longer simply mentor and friend. After this night, we would be lovers and mates, forever bound to one another with magic and sex. "So sweet," he said, and I moaned loudly when his fingers finally began to stroke my clit in slow circles that only served to make me want more. "My beautiful wife, you're all mine now," he said, and I could hear the possession in his voice. "Take me," I begged, and I felt him shift, and I watched as he gently spread my legs apart so that he could move between them. I sat up enough to stare at his beautiful body, and once again pride myself in knowing that this man was now mine. Elias Ainsworth had a body to be proud of. While his fey blood had given him skeletal body parts in some place, his human blood had given him dark-colored skin so dark that there were hints of indigo mixed in. While at one point Elias' physical appearance had disturbed me deeply, now I only saw the beauty in his nude body, and wondered about the pleasures I had to offer. Taking my hands in his and putting them over my head as the head of his cock brushed at my entrance, Elias squeezed my hands in his. "Squeeze as hard as you need to, love," he said, and at my nod it started to push inside me. The sharp pain made me cry out, and tears began to slide from the corners of my eyes. But after a few more thrusts, the pain subsided to be replaced by pleasure. "Elias, please harder," I begged, and moaned loudly when he complied. The pleasure was so intense that I had to fight to keep my eyes from closing. I didn't want to miss a single second of the look of pure pleasure on Elias's face as he pushed me closer and closer to the edge. "Oh, Elias!" Jerking awake as a powerful orgasm rocked through my whole body. I quickly bit into my pillow to muffle the sounds of my loud moans, not wanting Elias to wake up due to the sounds of my moans. When the orgasm ended, I glanced over to see that Elias was still sound asleep, the sounds of his soft snoring causing me to blush with embracement. This was the 5th time in the last 2 weeks that I had woken up from some kind of filthy dream involving my fiancé. Technically, he is my husband now, I thought to myself, and blushed even harder. In order to save my life from inevitability of my body giving out due to my magic, Elias had found a ritual that would allow the two of us to siphon off magic from one another, which would then stop me from killing myself due to a magic overload, give me or him a magically backup support if needed. The problem was, in order for the ritual to work, we had to bound ourselves together both magically and physically. So now at 17, I was technically married to the man of my dreams, but so far my husband had been too thrilled about our new status as husband and wife. I knew for a fact that Elias loved me and had wanted to marry me from the moment he had saved me that day from the slave trade, and saved me he had. If Elias hadn't bought me that day, there was no telling where or who I would have ended up with. At the time I hadn't cared about what would happen to me, and hadn't thought about the consequences of my actions. With Elias's help, I now knew that my life did matter, that I now had people who would miss me if I was gone, and that would help me if I needed it. I closed my eyes and curled myself closer to him. I loved this man so much that it fucking hurt some days, and it had me too fucking long to find the strength to not only admit it to myself, but to him as well. So what the fuck had changed since 3 weeks ago? Good morning, Chase, Lisa said, his voicing sounding rough with the edge of sleep. Good morning, I said, and sat up, trying hard not to look at him, as he sat up to lean against the headboard of our bed. What's on today's agenda? I asked, and cuddled up closer to him. I need to check up on some things in London, and pick up something at Angelica's, he said, and wouldn't meet my eyes. Tilting his head to make him look at me, I stared into his slightly glowing eyes, and saw nothing but love and a slowly burning need in them, that caused something low in my belly to tighten with need. Do you want me to come? I asked, but he just shook head. No, I need you to stay here. We have a lot of medicine that needs to be picked up today, and some of it needs to be explained to its owners.
He was hiding something from me. Well, great. Just great. Okay, breakfast should be almost ready by now. If you want to have a bath, now would be the time, I said. He got up slowly so my nightgown wouldn't ride up and flash him. You go first, he said, and I left without another word. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX said, and I looked over the simple wedding ring I had made her make for Chase a month ago, before the ritual. The two of you are magically married, and yet you don't consider the two of you married yet. I absently read over the engravement inside the simple golden band. Forever mine and never alone. Wow, I've always thought you to be a bit slow when it came to emotions, but this is a new low. She scoffed as I handed over her payment. Watch yourself, Angie. I can still bend you over my knee for a good spanking, I threatened as she shorted. Promise? She asked sarcastically and went back to counting her money. Giving my goddaughter a quick kiss on her cheek, I put down my veils. Chapter 2. Chase. Just put 2 drops into your tea every morning and your morning sickness will be gone, I said, and handed over the bag to one of the newly pregnant women from the village. She took it and handed over the payment and smiled kindly at me before leaving. I watched her go and envied her just a little. She had a husband who truly wanted her and a child that would be the best parts of both her and her husband. Sighing, I closed the door and began checking the number of bags left over, and saw that there was only 3 left. Nodding, I walked into the living room and curled up on the sofa. You okay, Chase? Ruth asked as he padded his way into the room. I'm fine, Ruth. I'm just worried about Elias. He's been so distant lately, I said and stroked his soft furred head, and he rested said head on my thigh. He'll come around, he always does, he said, then sat up as the doorbell rang. Getting up, I walked over to the door and opened it to see Simon standing there smiling, his normally kind smile at me. Hi, Simon, how are you? I asked, and handed over his medicine. Hello, Chase. Where's that fiancé of yours? He asked, and I had to fight back the urge to yell, He's my husband, not my fiancé. He is taking care of some stuff in London, and I won't be back till dinner, I answered instead. Simon must have seen my irritation, because he quickly said goodbye, that I should attend service next Sunday, then he was gone. Church is the last thing I need, I grumbled to myself and closed the door. God hadn't done me any favors in the past, so why should he help me out now? Muttering under my breath, I entered the kitchen, to see that Silver was already finishing up making lunch. Sat down at the table and grumbled some more. I ate lunch silently while Ruth chatted on and on about his patrol around the village and the nearby forest, and how boring things were right now, how they should go on some kind of quest soon. I ignored my familiar ranting, because all I wanted was to fix whatever was wrong with Elias, for us to be happy. Hell, maybe even have a child of our own. I went still at the thought. Elias had told me once that he hated young children. So would he want to have a baby with me? Chase, are you okay? Ruth asked and blushed. I shook my head clear of those thoughts. I'm fine, Ruth. Just thinking, I said, and quickly finished up my food. Once all of the medicine was picked up, I quickly started on my course for the week, since I had time to kill, and changing into my work clothes, grabbed everyone's laundry and filled up the laundry tub up with warm water, and mixed in some lemon-scented oils and started with the sheets. Everything had to be done by hand, because powerful magic plus normal electronics such as washing machines did not mix well together. They would either not work or blow up, so that meant I had to most everything by hand. Grabbing a long wooden pole, I started to stir the many sheets in the tub, which weren't as easy as you would think it would be. It was back-breaking work, but I was now used to it. Once I was done, I grabbed some pine-smelling powder from a nearby shelf, and put half a scoopful into the water and began stirring again. Steam began to rise from the tub, and after another 10 minutes the water had evaporated, leaving clean, damp sheets.
Picking them up, I quickly put them all in the drawing line and started to fill up again, when I saw a flash of light at the edge of my vision. Turning, I glanced around but saw nothing. Shrugging it off, started sorting the colors from the white, and this time I saw the flash of light coming from one of the hedges by the side of the house. A camera, I thought to myself, and stopping what I was doing and mentally called out to Ruth, and allowed him to see through my eyes. I got it, he thought at me, and I watched through his eyes as he silently made his way towards that part of the house, and he was behind greasy-looking men with the camera in his hand. Baring his teeth, Ruth let out a low, threatening growl, and the man slowly turned around at the sound of Ruth's growl and swallowed hard. "Nice puppy," the man said, and Ruth lunged forward, causing the man to scream and tumble backward. Blinking, I quickly made my way over to the side of the house. To see Ruth had the man pinned down. His large paw was slowly pressing harder and harder into his throat. "Well, what do we have, Ruth?" I asked, and patted his head as I stared down at the man. The man looked greasy, with unkempt brown hair, muddy brown eyes, and a small beer belly. "Who are you?" I demanded, and Ruth lets up enough to allow the man to speak. "Listen here, you brat! You better let me go or it'll—" he started, but I shook my head at him. "No, you listen. You're the one taking pictures of me without my consent. Now you can either tell me why and who are you, or I can get the local sheriff down here, and don't think he won't come. I helped with the birthing of his granddaughter last week. He'll make a special trip for me." The man swallowed hard, and I just waited calmly. I had dealt with his type before, and knew that he would talk at some point. "The name is Jay Morgan. I'm a PI, he finally said. I nodded and picked up his camera, and started looking through the pictures. There were hundreds of pictures of me and Elias. Some of them were separated, others were of us together, sleeping in a bed. "What the fuck is this?" I demanded, and held the camera close to his face. Jay looked nervously between me and Ruth, then back at me. Well, you see, Miss Hattori," he started, but I cut him off. "First off, it's Miss Ainsworth. Second, how in the hell do you know my maiden name?" Jay blinked in surprise at the news, and stared at me for a long moment. I was hired to find you. By your father!" I stared at him in shock. My father had hired this creep to track me down after almost 10 years? Why? Why, it's been 10 years since he last saw me. Why, after all this time? I demanded as anger and pain burned through my body. My ability to see the Fae had caused my father to abandon me and my mother when I was 5. He had taken my brother and left my already depressed mother alone to deal with my problem. Days where social services would come and accuse her of hurting me because of the dark bruises on my body and scratches on my face. Nights where I woke up screaming to find my hair tied in knots on the headboard, and afternoons where I would huddle in fear in the empty tub. She hadn't been able to deal with it anymore and ended her life to get away from the madness. From me. I don't know, he just wanted to find you and report my findings to him, Jay says, and I snapped my fingers and Ruth slowly allowed Jay to sit up. I'm keeping this, I said when he held out a hand for the camera. You are going to leave and never come back. If you set foot on this property or come near my family again, I will let Ruth eat you. As if to back up my empty threat, Ruth snarled and snapped his teeth at Jay, which caused him to squeak and nodded his head. I understand, Miss Ainsworth, but your father has spent a good amount of money trying to find you. I believe he's genuinely concerned about you. I had to give the man point, so saying that, it showed me that he wasn't a complete asshole. Jay, I think you're a good person, but you have no idea what that bastard did. So do yourself a favor and get the fuck out of here, I said, and nodded for Ruth to let him up. Jay got up and dusted himself off, and reaching into his pocket, held out a business card to me. I took and saw that it had his work phone and personal phone numbers, listed along with his name and IP firm on it. In case you want to get in touch with your father, he explained. I slid it into my pocket.
I won't. I watched him leave without another word. Why do I think he would be back? Ruth asked when Stuart was gone. I snorted as I looked through the pictures. Because people like him don't give up. Not when they think they're onto something, I answered. These pictures went back to at least 3 weeks, which meant Jay had been watching me long enough to wonder about my relationship with Elias. Now a 17-year-old girl from Japan ended up in England with an older man. We need to show Elias this when he gets home, I said, and showed him the pictures. The upside was that none of them showed any of our adventures, but some were more damning than others. Wow, Ruth said as he looked one of the most damning ones. It's a picture of me standing in nothing but a pair of baby pink sheer lace bra and panties, and modeling them for Elias in our bedroom. I remember that he had caught me eyeballing them as we walked past a lingerie while we were in London, and had gone back to get them for me. I blushed at the memory of him handing over the simple brown box and finding the bra and panties wrapped in white tissue paper. "Try it on for me," he had said, and finding a courage I didn't know I had, slipped off all of my clothes right there in front of him, and slowly, deliberately, I slid of the simple cotton bra and matching panties I had worn that day, and changed into the sexy pair, then began to mimic some of the more sexier movement of the runway models I had seen on TV once, twisting and turning this way and that, so he saw every inch of my body in the bra and panties. I had seen the line of this arousal through his trousers and knew he wanted me. But after I was done my little show, Elias hadn't taken me, but instead helped me into one of my nicer nightgowns and helped brush out my hair. Blinking, I forced myself to focus on the matter at hand, and hand the camera over to Ruth. "Take this inside and give it to Silva, please. I need to finish this up before Elias gets home," I said. Ruth nodded and turned into his human form, and gingerly to the camera from me. "I'll be right back," he said, and dashed back to the house. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX The scent of baked chicken and session greens filled the house. "Welcome home!" Choice called out from the kitchen. Can came out to greet me while wiping her hands clean with a dish towel. Leaning down as Choice rose up on her toes for a quick kiss, I let out a long sigh of pleasure. To finally be able to do this simple thing with my wife after so long made me happier than I had been in a while. "How was your day?" I asked as I followed into the kitchen. To see Silva was cutting up the chicken and Ruth was settling the table.
Settling.
About that, I need to talk to you about something that happened today, she said, and I saw the look of hesitation on her face. It had taken Choice a long time to finally open up to me, and longer still to tell me everything that bothered her and what was really on her mind. To see her hesitate to tell me something meant that where it was, I hit a patch if for her.
What?
"What happened?" I asked, but she simply shook her head. "After we all eat, and maybe after a glass or two of brandy," Choice said.
Oh,
I raised an eyebrow at that. Choice knew that I only drank when I was ever irritated at something or someone. So whatever the news was, it was bound to irritate me greatly. Dinner is eaten in relative silence. The only sounds were the occasional mutters for more food to be passed over, or the clink of silverware. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX Chase. When dinner was over and the dishes cleaned, Elias led me out of the eye and immediately pulled me into a lap. I cuddled close to him, needing him in every way, but having to make good with just this. While I was washing clothes, someone was taking pictures of me, I said, and felt him teased with worry. Ruth caught him, and when I asked who he was and who had sent him, I told him his name was J. Morgan, and that my dad had sent him. Elias said nothing. He knew how much I both resented and hated my father. He had abandoned me and my mother when we had need him the most. While I understood him wanting to protect my baby brother from the crazy that seemed to follow me daily, part of me still believed that if he had stayed, then my mother would still be alive. That's not all, I said, and held up the camera. He's been taking pictures of us for at least 3 weeks and sending them to my father. I heard Elias growled and I saw his eyes flashed with his anger. Elias was a very private person and disliked others butting into his life without first earning his trust and respect. So the thought of some stranger spying on us angered him greatly. Elias took the camera from me and began to look through the pictures, and his eyes only glowed brighter with every picture he saw. When he was finally done, I watched as he crushed the camera between his 2 powerful hands and let the piece crumble to the floor. The PI's name is J. Morgan. He gave me his card in case I wanted to get in contact with my father, I said, and Elias took in a deep breath and looked at me. Do you want to? He asked, and knew that if I said yes, he would be there every step of the way. Staring up into his eyes, I was once again thankful that this man had come into my life. Elias had always supported me and inspired me to do better. I love you, I said, and kissed him. I put all of my feelings into my kiss and silently let him know that loved every part of him. When the kiss ended, I laid my head down on his shoulder and sighed. Don't want to see him, but if we don't meet with him, I'm worried he'll come here, I said. Elias stroked my hair to my face and held me. Chapter 3. Chase. Warning, lemons. Don't like them, don't read it. Pressing my body close to his so that every part of me was now touching him, I deepened the kiss and ran my fingers down his chest, feeling the muscles underneath his clothing. I heard Elias let out a low growl of arousal, and suddenly the buttons to my top were gone, and my shirt parted enough to reveal my breast in one of the lace bras Elias had gotten for me. Elias, I breathed out as his fingers flexed gently against my hips, as his gaze took in my almost naked upper body. I slid off the remains of my top and moved to the front clasp of my bra, and slowly started to unclasp my bra. Elias didn't stop me, just sat back and watched me slide off my bra. I wrapped my arms around myself, suddenly cold and nervous, as Elias stared at me hungrily. I felt myself blush as I watched him pull off his white gloves to reveal his long, slender fingers tipped with sharp, blackened nails. Next went his shirt and belt. I bit my lip and ran a finger down his half-skeletal chest and melted halfway down his chest to show off his well-sculpted abs and flat stomach. Elias let out a long sigh, ran one long finger down my chest and cupped one breast in his large hand, then began to stroke nipple. Elias, I gasped out and moaned when he lowered his head and used his tongue to gently pull up my now hardened nipple. Beautiful, he growled, and slid a finger down and tugged at the zipper of my skirt. I helped him tug the panties and skirt off, leaving me nude before him. I shivered with knees and slowly got onto knees before him. I swallowed hard as I stared up at him. I wanted to do this with Elias for so long, but had been so nervous that he would push me away. But now I felt that I needed to try. Taking a deep breath, I slowly unbuttoned his pants and slowly unzipped them. Elias watched me intensely as his cock sprung free from his pants. I swallowed hard and stroked his thick shaft and bit my lip as I remembered the scenes in the books that I'd found in Angelica's shop months ago. Finding my courage, I leaned forward and ran my tongue up his shaft. Slowly, and watch out as Elias threw his head back and moaned loudly. Taking that for good sight, I quickly wrapped my lips around his cock and began to suck while stroking the rest of his cock. Choice, he snarled, and pulling my mouth off of his cock. Elias had me on all fours on the carpet and had his cock barred inside of me. I cried out and clawed at the carpet. Elias froze above me. Did I hurt you? He asked, his voice rough with the edge of his knee. I shook his head frantically and whimpered. No, you didn't, please, Elias, dude, stop. I need you so bad. Elias let out a grunt and began to thrust into me slowly. I moaned low, as his pace only served to heighten my arousal. The feeling of his cock moving in and out of me while hitting that sweet spot deep inside of me made me cry out and beg for him to go faster, to dominate me in a way only he could. Letting out a low growl, I had to bite back a scream when Elias began to pumping into me harder and faster, pushing me closer and closer to my climax with every thrust. Oh God, Elias! I cried out, game on! Whimpering Elias's name as he followed after snarling my name. XXXXXXXXXXXX Elias. Pulling out of Chai's body was both a pleasurable and a torturous feeling all at once. Rolling onto my back, I pulled Chais with me, so that she was sprawled out on top of me. Her head rested on my shoulder. She tried hard to breathe normally, and we basked in the afterglow. I love you, Chais, so much, I said, and it felt like it wasn't enough. How could you express the amount of endless love you felt for a person in just a few simple words? The answer was you couldn't. At least I didn't think so. I love you to Elias, more than I ever felt possible, Chai said, and closed her eyes and gave into sleep. Deciding to risk it, I used a small amount of magic to teleport us into our bed, and pulled the sheet over us. Made sure Chais was comfortable before closing my eyes and falling headlong into sleep. XXXXXXXXXXX Chais. Opening my eyes, I glanced around and saw that at some point Elias had somehow gotten us both into bed. He was lying flat on his stomach, snoring lightly. Smiling, I carefully slid out of bed. I made my way into the master bedroom and started to fill up the tub with cum. My body was slightly sore from last night, and I saw that my hips had some light scratches from where Elias's nails had dug in too hard, but they didn't hurt. Reaching under the sink, I pulled out a small white box filled with some pink powder that smelled faintly of roses and sage, then dumped some into the water and began to stirring it around in the water. Once that was done, I turned off the water and climbed into the tub. And sighed as the warm water began to ease the soreness in my body. I closed my eyes for a second as the night's events played over and over again. Elias had asked me to marry him, for real this time. From the moment we had met, Elias had made it clear that in some time in the future it was I to be his wife. Hell, some people had even thought we actually had been married long before we actually were. But our inevitable matrimony had always seemed so far away, or at times non-existent, until the ritual had happened, and now here I was, actually both married and engaged to Elias. Opening my eyes, I stared at the ring Elias had given me the night before, and smiled. Simple yet beautiful at the same time. I couldn't help but grin, a stupid little grin, when I thought about actually being Elias's wife. Miss Charles Ainsworth, I said out loud, liking the sound of my soon-to-be new name, and giggled like a little schoolgirl. Finishing up my bath, I quickly died off, and made back into the bedroom and saw Elias was up. Morning, I said, and after getting dressed in a simple sundress, pressed a quick kiss to him. Good morning, he said, brushed a lock of my hair back before leaving to go get ready. Breakfast was happy event, as Elias and I informed everyone of our upcoming wedding, which would be held in the land of dragons in a week.
Ugh.
With grinning and kissed my cheek and hugged Elias. Silver smiled brightly at us and wrote that she would help me with my dress. The next few hours we filled with me, Silver, and Ruth, trying to compile a list of people to invite and who would be in the wedding itself. I tried to make Angelica my maid of honor and Silver one of my bridesmaids. Ruth would be giving me away at the wedding itself, and standing with Elias and Lindell would be Elias's best man. I made a mental note to ask Simon, when he came for his refial, to be the one to marry me and Elias. At some point during the planning, Elias slipped out to go check in the whole Morgan situation, and part of me wondered if I should go with him or not. Well, I didn't think Jay was a threat. Elias, I was worried about Elias losing his temper with Jay when he wanted something that he didn't like. Elias was amazingly even-tempered, but when it came to the people he loved, his temper was known to flare hot and stay away for a long while. Getting up, I quickly grabbed my light jacket and quickly followed after Elias with Ruth on my heels. The three of us walked in companionable silence down the long path leading into town. When we finally got to town, a few people called out a hello to us as we passed by, while others simply waved a greeting. We made our way into the town's pub/inn/dinner. Michael the owner called out a cheerful greeting when he saw me and Elias take a seat at the bar, and made his way over to us smiling happily. Elias, Charles, how are you both? He said, and smiled back at him, while Elias let out a grunt of a hello while looking around. Hi, Michael. We both doing wonderfully, I said, and added, Michael is a man by the name J. Morgan staying here by any chance? Michael frowned deep in thought, then slowly nodded his head. Yeah, now that you mention it, a man by that name checked in a few weeks ago and has been asking questions about you and Elias. I just thought he was an out-of-towner looking for some magical remedy of some sort, who was worried about being swindled. Why, he giving you two any trouble? Michael asked, but I quickly shook my head. No, but we do want to talk to him. Can you please tell us if he is in or not? And if he is, can we get his room number? Michael nodded and went off to go see if Jay was in or not. Elias turned to look at me, his veiled face showing no emotions as we stared at each other. "What is it?" I asked softly. Elias shrugged his shoulders. "I'm not sure," he said. Before I could say anything, Michael was back and told us that Jay was in room 3, and that if we got into any kind of trouble with Jay, we had to pay for anything that got broken. I hate to fight the urge to not promise anything, because Elias had told me that my magic could be so powerful that any type of promise would be a magical oath. And once that was broken, my magic would punish me in some type of horrible way. So I had learned to watch what I said. Following Elias up the short stair and down the hall, we stopped at the door marked with the number 3, and Elias knocked loud. Hold on, I want to put a bunch of Cheez-Its in my mouth.
It's getting over my fucking phone. Oh no! Oh!
Okay, Chapter 4, Choice. The look on Jade's face was almost as funny
Christ.
as I ducked past the Jay. Elias pulled out a small clear spray bottle.
Oh, I'm gonna relax, guys.
Full blue liquid aimed at Jay's face. I knew from past experience that the liquid was truth potion. Pulled out a nearby chair, I sat down and watched as Elias sprayed Jay in the face with the potions. Jay sputtered and sneezed and Elias put the bottle away. "What the hell?" Jay demanded as Elias came to stand beside me and crossed his arms. "What is your name?" Elias said, his voice rang with authority and magic. Jay tensed before answering. "Jay Morgan," he said. Elias nodded and glanced at her. It felt like the wind rushing through a field, but now the path felt like the wind blowing fast. Through an ancient forest, causing the leaves of the trees to hiss with the movement. Opening my eyes, I stared at Jay and thought about what I wanted to ask. "Have you contacted my father in the last 24 hours?" I demanded. Jay nodded. By this point, Jay's eyes were wide with fear and the realization that Elias and I were far more than just plain human. Part of me tried to remember if my father had worn a similar look on his face every time something magical happened around me, and couldn't remember. Most humans feared magic of any kind. It was their fear that caused most magic users to do their work in secret. "Where's my father now?" I demanded, wanting to know where the man was so that she could decide what to do next. "He's currently on his way to London and will be there in 3 days. I froze. She remembered the days leading up to her father leaving.
To be struck by you, I wanna make you move.
I still remember the day you went to Santa Monica. The fairies had been worse that month. They had decided to not just mess with her, but her family busting and her mother, biting her father and bruising her baby brother. I begged them to stop and only bother me, but they had ignored her and continued on and on until one day her father hadn't been able to take it anymore. I remembered waking up in the dead of night to the sound of my father storming in and out of the apartment. They had all moved in with boxes of his things. Her mother followed behind him the whole time, crying and begging for him to just wait and that things would get better, but her father hadn't said a word. Finally, after all the boxes were gone, the father had pushed past her and the mother, and he gently picked up her brother from his cradle and walked out of the apartment, out of their lives for good. "What?" I demanded, my voice and power wavering so that I had to focus harder to keep it in place. Elias was tense beside me as we waited for the potion to focus Jay to tell us the truth. Currently, Jay was trying to fight it, but the potion, my magic, were far too strong. I gave him my lady's report, and he decided that it was time for you both to meet face to face. For some reason I felt angry. After all this time, the man who abandoned me wanted to come back into my life. After all this time and all the things I'd done, he wanted her back. Without a word, I let the magic go and left, not waiting for Ruth. I didn't pay attention where I was going, only that I needed to get away and think. Blinking, I saw that I was standing by the river where Elias had kept me pinned to him for most of the night in a jealous rage until I threatened to kill myself with a magical blade that Ruth had brought me. That night had been the first night Elias could remember where he had actually felt anything. Elias was not like anyone I had ever met. He didn't feel things like a human did, and there were times when normal, simple human emotions that the everyday person felt.
This is a song about my dog.
Mario is his name. He is gay. That little shit keeps fucking all the other dogs in the hood, the neighborhood. He is a little piece of shit. He keeps digging in the trash. The trash! He won't leave my shit alone. He keeps smashing everything, tearing everything, and ripping everything, and fucking everything.
Hey, what's up? My name is Jim. I like to see my dog fuck things. I go on E621 every day. One time I really looked up and throw underscore wolf. Gay score plus 25. Penis. Last time I looked into the browser of a wolf's hole. It was
Cold,
black and
cold,
cold.
like coal. Hole.
Cole, if your name is Cole,
Please
I'm
go
gonna
away.
fuck your hole.
Please go away.
Cole, come in.
Leave my home.
Leave my hole.
Leave
A
me.
mess.
Go away.
Go away.
You're not
in
welcome
my
here.
hole.
Jim, please
Jim,
leave.
I
I'm
am
going to
not
call the police.
leaving today.
I'm going to call the cops. I'm calling the fucking cops, Jim. Jim, get out. Jim, I swear to God.
Tune in our fucking instruments. How do I play this shit? Gonna slum this guitar. Gonna fucking strum this guitar. Playing shit. Last night, sang about our pilot's dreams. One fucking day ago, I kicked my dog in its teeth. Hell yeah! Fuck yeah! He's gonna fucking suffer. Holy shit, guys. Sage is gone. I can make a song in peace. I can fucking make a song in peace, guys. Make a piece. Make a piss. I'm free, queer, and happy as a bee. Oh god! Oh! Ah!